Hello and welcome to the Evening News for today, Friday, January 9, 2015. I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, PNCR Linden members break office and protest. West Bank Demerara teenager reportedly drugged and gang raped. Trans-Guyana plane damaged due to hard landing. The Shira says opposition disrespects PPPC's supporters. Minibus driver in Little Diamond accident granted bail. And the IAC congratulates Ramotar on India-Guyana relationship. Now for the news in detail. We start off by telling you that pandemonium broke out among PNCR supporters in Linden last evening. Let's find out why in this Royden James report.
Chaos and confusion reigned supreme in Linden on Thursday when the infighting amongst the PNCR members continued over the usage of the party's Linden office. This newscast understands that angry PNC members who were opposed to Sandra Adams' appointment as the party's coordinator in the region broke into the office by removing several padlocks from the steel door. The padlocks were placed on the door by Adams following the instructions of the PNCR leader, retired Brigadier David Granger, and General Secretary Oscar Clark. The incident occurred when Adams was not present at the facility after frustrated PNC members voiced their concern over not being able to access the facility to do their legitimate party business. Since Adams' appointment by Granger to the region, support for his leadership has been dwindling. Many in the Region 10 area are unwilling to cooperate with Adams. When questioned today about the incident, Granger pretended not to have details about the incident, but was later heard saying on record that those responsible would be dealt with. Meanwhile, the party's General Secretary is quoted in another section of the media as saying that the police have been called in and an investigation is underway. He explained that APNU and the PNCR executive Vanessa Kisoon remain in the possession of the old party keys and has not handed them over even after being instructed to do so last year. Since Granger's rise to the leader post of the PNC, there has been constant concern over his materialization of the party, cronyism and lack of transparency in the appointment of several personnel to critical posts. For the Evening News, Royden James reporting.
Meanwhile, months after placing a ban on Region 10 PNCR representative Vanessa Kisoon, PNC leader David Granger could not give an update on the fiasco. Here's Alexis Rodney with the details.
The Evening News sought an update from the party leader on Friday. However, all he responded was no updates. The Region 10 Member of Parliament Vanessa Kisoon has been at the helm of a bitter dispute between herself and the General Secretary of the PNCR, Oscar Clark. The incident, which occurred mid-last year, surrounded an issue with the key for the Linden office. That incident, which saw the General Secretary allegedly assaulting Kisoon, saw the Region 10 Member of Parliament being suspended. That suspension was lifted a few days before the PNC Congress in July for her to participate. However, it was subsequently reinstated. According to reports, Region 10 representatives had sought a meeting with the PNC leadership, but this was not before Granger had written a letter to Kisoon. Kisoon has reportedly not responded to that letter. She remains tight-lipped on the issue after several warnings from the party's leader David Granger and some of its executives. Reports from Linden suggest that she is gagged from speaking to the media and is still unable to participate in any official party business. The Member of Parliament is also likely to lose her parliamentary seat after this year's general and regional elections. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
We tell you now that a teenager is in a critical condition at a Georgetown Public Hospital after he was reportedly sodomized by several men, including his best friend, during an All Year's Night party. Bisham Mohammed met with the young man's mother and filed this report.
9 days after the attack, an 18-year-old supermarket handyman cannot eat, speak or walk and is continuing to bleed profusely. After days of running to and from the West Demerara Regional Hospital to receive medical treatment, he was finally admitted to the Georgetown Public Hospital after the intervention of a senior staff at the medical facility. The teenager was reportedly gang raped by persons whom he trusted and worked with. One of the men whose house the teenager was last seen was taken into police custody, while the police are waiting for the young man to recover to take a statement. At the home of the teenager, his mother, who had just returned from the hospital, gave an update on his condition.
He there fighting up on the bed. And I trying to talk to you because the nurses tell me talk to you. And when I talk to you, and I calling people names, see, ask if he want to see father, no answer. So this husband I'm living with here, his name is Hyan, no? And I ask you want to see Hyan, you want to see Papa? He now answer me. I say you want to see Father James? No answer. I ask you back twice, no answer. When I ask you again, yes, let James come. He want to see his father, James.
She then explained that on the day of the incident, her son, whom she claimed is a respected young man in the village, left home to attend the party.
From the party, he came that he go to Romel's home. I get a call 5 o'clock Thursday afternoon that my son left by Romel home and he going to sleep there. I asked Romel if my son is okay. He said yes. 11 o'clock the Thursday night, my daughter called me, "Mommy, come and see what happened to Ravu." When I do walk the road and I go to my daughter there, my son was lying on the ground doing like this, panicking. And when I try to talk to you, there is no response to me. How you say, look there, look there, look there. Look, they come in and shoot me. Look, they come in and shoot me. They said they're going to destroy my family, but they can't do that. No, 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 no. That is the way how we go in here. And never to sleep and do nothing. And totally.
Upon questioning, the young man explained what had occurred to him, and he was taken to the West Demerara Regional Hospital, where it was confirmed that he was sodomized.
He told me that he wanted to go to the toilet. This in the afternoon. I put him over a bucket in the washroom. When he sat on the bucket, no stool at all coming out. When I tell him, take the tissue and wipe yourself, the sheer blood coming out. I tell him, get up. Well, me hold you up because he couldn't walk too. And I pull up his clothes and wrap a towel around you and I bring you back to the bed. Me tell them, blood spraying up on the bed. They take out the sheet and they hide the sheet. Why they do that? And they want to shoot me and they inject me and they give me thing for drink. They didn't think to examine the child, and I come and tell them that I need my child to get an examination. He said, okay, would he allow? Me said, well, if he allow, I would take off his clothes and do it. They let me take off the clothes in front of the ass. Just drop his pants and pull along the brief. And just get him, and they peep and examine him, and that's it. And they say he raped by several people, several guys.
The woman is hoping her son recovers so that the perpetrators can be brought to justice. The matter is presently engaging the attention of the police. Bishar Mohammed, The Evening News.
A Trans-Guyana Cessna Grand Caravan aircraft landed hard at Matthews Ridge in Region 1, which resulted in damages to the plane's left wing and possible damage to the undercarriage. The details in this report.
The incident occurred at 8:28 hours this morning with 12 adults and 2 infants on board. The passengers disembarked unharmed, but the aircraft bearing registration number 8RGAB, which was chartered by SkyWest Charter Company to operate a passenger flight, experienced several damages. The hard landing was a result of poor visibility due to the bad weather conditions. Public relations consultant for the airline, Kit Nascimento, told this newscast that the bad weather has prevented officials from visiting the area to conduct their investigations. Nascimento explained that the sector often operates aircraft in difficult conditions and they have to accept that poor conditions exist in the hinterland airways. However, he pointed out that their pilots are highly trained and qualified to operate under such conditions. Davina Samaru for The Evening News.
The Guyana Revenue Authority's Commissioner General, Kershi Sattar, has stated that the probe has been widened into the huge cocaine bust made last week. More in this report.
Commissioner General Kershi Sattar said that the GRA is working closely along with CANU to diligently investigate the 192 kilograms of cocaine found in a container that was on a cargo ship on Tuesday last. Sattar said that the matter is a high-profile one, and so the agencies involved wants to ensure that there is due diligence.
We wouldn't want those who would have provided us with information to feel that we are less than diligent in dealing with this matter.
The Commissioner General pointed out that the investigations will not take a lengthy period since local authorities had similar matters to deal with in the past.
We have dealt with such matters in the past, so we have precedents. You know, there was the MV Charm with the rice many years ago, and then there was the Danielson, I think, many years ago. Cocaine was found on board, and all those boats were subject to the procedures that apply to customs. We are no stranger to those things. We deal with those things every day. I guess it's new to the press, it's new to the media. But not everything that we do is covered in the media. Many things are not. This happened to be one because it's very high profile.
Sattar went on to say that while GRA would have received the information and enlisted Kanu's assistance, the Anti-Narcotic Agency is heading the investigations and will be the one to institute charges. He further stated that investigators are looking at all aspects to get as much prosecution as possible.
So you have the crew members who would have committed offense. I don't know if that is advised. That is for the police to determine, or can determine. Then you have the bauxite on the vessel. That will be subject to a legal process as well. Maybe an offense, maybe not an offense. And thirdly, you have the vessel itself that can be subject to seizure and then forfeiture under our law.
The cocaine was found stashed away under the wooden flooring of a flat rack that is used as a bed for containers. The narcotics is said to have a street value of US $10 million. According to reports, Kanu was called in by GRA, who received a tip-off about possible contraband goods on the vessel. The vessel was docked at a wharf in Linden, where it uplifted a consignment of bauxite destined for Europe. Local authorities on Monday evening swarmed the cargo ship. The captain and crew members who were on board the vessel were taken into custody to assist with the investigations. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchan.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. Barring talks by President Donald Ramotar in his New Year's message that Guyana's economy is thriving, a Partnership for National Unity says while this may be so, the builders of the economy are at a severe disadvantage. Here's Alexis Rodney with the details.
The party says it is deeply concerned about the impact of the challenges currently confronting the gold and diamond industry. Opposition leader David Granger said the industry has been the country's foreign currency earner for 7 years with record-breaking productions in 2013. According to him, the national economy could be significantly enhanced and livelihood of miners enriched by a more comprehensive and collaborative approach to the industry.
APNU is aware of the engagements between the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Environment and the Guyana Gold and Diamond Miners Association. APNU is committed to the promulgation of a strategic plan of action for the gold and diamond mining industry in order to sustain employment, investment, and the development of the industry.
Granger said the party has growing concerns over the security, health, and the safety of miners.
APNU iterates its intention to improve health and to suppress vector-borne diseases such as malaria. The Ministry of Labour, Human Services and Social Security will also direct its efforts towards the reduction of the incidence of mining fatalities and trafficking in persons.
The party has proposed a plan of action for the industry, which will involve the Amerindian, Health, Home Affairs, Natural Resources, and Human and Social Security ministries. The plan will seek to lend more support to the gold and miners industry, ensuring its viability.
28-year-old Travis David of Agricola, Greater Georgetown, was granted bail after being arraigned on a cause of death charge. The minibus driver appeared at the Georgetown Magistrates Courts before Chief Magistrate Priya Sinarain Bihari. It is alleged that on January 6 at Little Diamond, East Bank, Demerara, he drove motor vehicle BSS 9471 in a manner dangerous to the public, thereby causing the death of Lynette Joseph, to which he denied. The accused was represented by attorney at law Paul Fungafat, who noted that his client had never had any prior matters with any court and requested reasonable bail for the accused. The police prosecutor Barrett Mangru had no objections to bail but requested that the conditions be applied. The city magistrate then granted him bail in a sum of $150,000 and for him to report to the police officer in charge every Friday at 9 hours. This matter was adjourned until February 6. Meanwhile, in light of a Partnership for National Unity expressing interest in the well-being of the Amerindians, Press and Publicity Officer of the Office of the President, Kwame McCoy, pointed out via social media that the opposition is pretentious, hypocritical, and at its end game. More in this report.
APNU has been calling on residents of Aishalton to rebuff attempts to transfer John Abrams, the teacher who acted in a disorderly manner while in the presence of President Donald Ramotar. McCoy affirmed that APNU's sudden interest in the welfare of Amerindians is immensely shocking considering that it was APNU's leader David Granger who supported and energized his supporters who were taunting and heckling all manner of insulting comments at those Amerindians who were protesting the opposition's 2014 budget cuts to the Amerindian Development Fund and several other hinterland projects. He stated that the community of Aishalton is an excellent example to illustrate the PNC's disinterest in and neglect of Amerindians because, as history has it, the only progressive and successful period in the community was under the successive PPPC governments. He called on all Guyanese to defend against elements around their communities who are only interested in creating a hostile atmosphere and a division for narrow political gains. Davina Samaru for the Evening News.
Back in the courts, 22-year-old Julius Joyce of Middle Road, La Penitence, and Ziggy Webster of Numprel on the east coast of Demerara were sentenced to 56-month imprisonment and fined $382,500 for a trafficking in narcotics charge. Joyce, who was the only defendant present in court throughout the trial, defended himself during that time. He made his appeal before Magistrate Judy Latzman at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. The charge read that on November 14, at Lot 154 Middle Road, they had in their possession 257 grams of cannabis for the purpose of trafficking. Magistrate Latzman, before sentencing Joyce, stated her conditions, which were the nature and prevalence of the offence and the weight and price that the illicit drug amounted to. Joyce, who is a Mason, has never had prior brushes with the law and is also expected to pay a fine of $382,500. A Partnership for National Unity, David Granger, says his party, while poised in election mode, has not yet settled on its presidential or prime ministerial candidate. Alexis Rodney reports.
Responding to media queries on the party's preparation for the upcoming regional and general elections, Granger said today that the matter of the presidential and prime ministerial candidacy has not yet come up for discussion. The party is, however, in full campaign mode. According to him, the party is working towards getting the message across to the electorate. He also shrugged at comments made by the General Secretary of the PPPC, Clement Rohi, that the party was experiencing internal problems. The APNU seems to have joined both the People's Progressive Party Civic and the Alliance for Change, which have not yet decided on either posts. PPPC's Clement Rohi had indicated that the party's executive committee was still in talks over the positions. The AFC remains undecided. Meanwhile, Granger says the prospects for talks between the AFC and APNU are good. Specific details on the way forward for the proposed coalition will be unveiled after the party meets for its shadow cabinet next Tuesday. For the Evening News, I'm Alexis Rodney.
The emergency medical specialists at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation are expected to add to their numbers with the addition of 14 emergency medical specialists by 2018. More in this report.
Dr. Zulfikar Box, head of the new emergency medical system in Guyana, told this newscast that plans are underway to add to the elite group of emergency medical specialists within the next 3 years.
We started in 2010 by training emergency specialists. Guyana didn't have an emergency specialist or emergency specialist physician in 2010. We finished, the first graduate was in 2013. And now we have 3 emergency specialists. One was trained for Antigua, so that doctor left. So we have 2 emergency specialists in Guyana. And in the next 3 years, our expectation is that we're going to train 14 more emergency doctors to be just at Georgetown Hospital and also at the peripheral hospitals.
He explained that this initiative has been in development for quite some time, with the Georgetown Public Hospital being used as the pilot ground. Dr. Box informed that the hospital already has 2 emergency specialists on duty.
These are emergency physicians, emergency medicine specialists, as you call them. So generally you have general doctors, and then you can specialize to be a cardiologist or a neurosurgeon or an emergency medicine specialist. Myself is one of them, and there's Dr. Tracy Bovell, who graduated recently. So she's the second one.
The young specialist explained that this project is a collaboration of the Ministry of Health, the Vanderbilt Medical Center, and the Morris Foundation of the United States of America. Davina Samaru for the Evening News.
Chairman of the Walter Rodney Secretariat, Hugh Denbo, has reported that the 7th round of the Walter Rodney Commission of Inquiry will convene on January 26 at the Supreme Court Library Building in Georgetown. Here's Alexis Rodney with the details.
Speaking to the evening news on Thursday, Denbo said that the Secretariat is currently in the process of finalizing the list of participants for the 5-day sit-in, which will come to an end on January 30. Commissioners will take a break before resuming on February 9th. On the list to take the stand and complete his cross-examination is Labour Minister Nando Gopal, who was still giving evidence at the end of the last session in early November last. Before the end of Session 6, there were talks that Donald Rodney, the brother of slain historian Dr. Walter Rodney, will be opening this session. However, the Secretariat's chairman could not confirm this, since according to him, neither Rodney nor his lawyer Keith Scotland could say definitely if he will be present. Donald is said to be the only known witness to the June 13, 1980 bomb blast, which claimed the life of his brother, as he was said to be in the driver's seat of the car when the incident occurred some distance away from the Georgetown prison. Barbados Queen's Counsel Sir Richard Cheltenham heads the 3-member commission, which seeks to ascertain the circumstances surrounding the death of Dr. Walter Anthony Rodney. The other investigators include Jamaican Queen's Counsel Jacqueline Samuel-Sprung and Trinidad-based Guyanese Senior Counsel Sinath Jairam. For the evening news, Alexis Rodney.
In this report, we tell you now that the Guyana Revenue Authority is looking forward to working with the Guyana Police Force on policing the country's waterways.
GRA's Commissioner General Khurshid Sattar said that he is grateful for the opportunity to work along with the police on patrolling Guyana's waterways with the new boats that the force acquired last week. Sattar told reporters on Friday that GRA currently has 2 boats that they use to conduct extensive river patrols as part of its anti-smuggling exercise. However, he noted that these boats do not have the capacity to travel all the terrains in the country.
So this is very good, and I want to commend the Commissioner for giving this opportunity to us. And we will, of course, make use of it, because there are certain terrain that our boat cannot go, and these boats will be most suitable for those activities. Out in the ocean, for example, it's very rough. Our boat cannot navigate in those waters. So it is a very good thing, and we look forward to those opportunities. We are all in the area of law enforcement. One is for committing of offences.
The Commissioner General pointed out that GRA engages other agencies in its anti-smuggling activities, such as the Drug Enforcement Unit when carrying out excursions in the river. He added that the police and the Revenue Authority have a joint agreement under the Task Force on Fuel Smuggling and Contraband, along with the Task Force on Illicit Weapons and Drugs.
We do have joint operations right now under the Ministry of Home Affairs. It's called Task Force. And every month our officers meet with a counterpart chaired by the Minister himself, and we work on common issues. We have a memorandum of understanding between us of how we deal with common issues.
The Marine Branch of the Guyana Police Force on December 31st received 5 new vessels that will be used to police the country's waterways in order to protect fishermen and other persons who work offshore. The 1 work boat and 4 patrol boats were procured as part of the force's anti-piracy strategy, an area which is of grave concerns to authorities. Speaking at the handing over ceremony, Acting Police Commissioner Silal Prasad said that the boats will also enhance the police force's ability in joint operations with other agencies such as the GRA and the GDF Coast Guard in dealing with the smuggling of goods and narcotics. Reporting for the evening news, Vanu Manikchan.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the evening news. The Indian Arrival Committee has congratulated President Donald Ramotar and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi for continuing to strengthen ties between the two countries. Let's find out more in this report.
The IAC has commended India's Prime Minister for recognizing Guyana and the contributions made by President Donald Ramotar. President Ramotar is currently in India, where he's attending the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas in Gandhinagar as chief guest. He is the recipient of the Pravasi Bharatiya Samman Award for his immense contribution in the field of public service and for fostering ties between Guyana and India. The IAC stated that such recognition would foster Guyana's growing image internationally. In addition, the committee commended both President Ramotar and Prime Minister Modi for the agreements that were made on the sidelines of the event. This includes the Indian government's intention to build a world-class IT research center in Guyana and provide funding to construct the East Coast East Bank Demerara Bypass Road. Both of these projects would contribute positively to Guyana's continuous development, and in this regard, the IAC welcomes these initiatives. The IAC is not mindful of the tremendous assistance the Indian government has provided to Guyana over the years, especially in economic and cultural fields. On this note, the committee urged continuing efforts to strengthen the relationship between Guyana and India. Reporting for the Evening News, I'm Erica Williams.
The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, in collaboration with the Health Ministry, will be hosting several outreach programs in an effort to encourage women to get screened for cervical cancer. A number of similar programs have been held over the years. Medic of the VIA clinic at the GPHC, Lurlin Ramsundar, has disclosed that this year's organizations with more females will be targeted. She noted that such places include Transport and Harbours Department, Lifeline Ministries, Restoration Ministries, and several others. She stressed that the VIA testing is a very simple procedure which is pain-free and free of cost. The medic emphasized that early detection is vital and encouraged persons between the age of 25 and 49 who are sexually active in particular to get screened as soon as possible, especially if they have never been tested. The 5-day walk presented by the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is part of the Hare Krishna movement, which aims to preach the message of peace, unity, and national well-being and God consciousness, continues throughout the streets of Georgetown. Let's take a look.
Padayatra essentially means walking from one village to another, reminding people that they are eternal souls and have a direct love in relation with God by using drama, presentations, lectures, dances, and bhajans. The individuals visit communities along their route where they distribute hampers and interact with residents as they spread the love of God. Tomorrow, the walk commences from Wolford Avenue. The crowd makes its way through Kitty to Sheriff Street, and on Sunday, they begin again from Sheriff Street through Bel Air to University Road. Joining patrons in this holy walk through Georgetown is the walking monk Swami. All Guyanese are welcome to participate. Padayatra is known universally as the Walking Festival. In Guyana, this custom dates back to 1989. Reporting for the Evening News, Davina Samaru.
Guyana is to experience a massive 2-day spiritual intervention as gospel singer and prayer warrior ambassador Juanita Bynum will be live in concert. The details from Royden James.
Ambassador Juanita Bynum will be live in concert at the National Park on Friday and Saturday evening. Speaking at a press conference held on Thursday at the Princess Hotel, Pastor Kwame Gilbert noted that it is a critical year for Guyana and every person should make a special effort to attend the event.
This is a very important year for us as a nation. Those of you who are following what's happening politically, you know that this is a very critical and very important year for our nation. And so I believe that Ambassador Bynum coming to Guyana in this year is critical to hearing the mind and the heart of God regarding what the Lord will say to us as a people, and also to set the foundation as it relates to prayer and the importance of prayer in what God is doing in this nation.
He also encouraged all churches countrywide to support this venture.
To my fellow ministers, I would like to encourage you. It is not my place to dictate to you as it relates to how you order your assembly and your programs. But I would like to encourage you to support this event. I know that many of you would have already had your week of activities planned, maybe before you would have heard of this event. But as you would know, opportunities of a lifetime must be seized in the lifetime of the opportunity.
Meanwhile, Ambassador Bynum noted that Guyana should expect a lot from her.
I am just as overwhelmed and filled with what's coming out of my mouth. I can't even describe that experience of me talking and something is coming out of my mouth that is going back down in my spirit, and the people are responding to it, and there's this whole dynamic that is going on because I'm being blessed and I'm being challenged and the people are being blessed and they're being challenged. And then at the same time, my responsibility is, being ready to hear the next thing God is saying. And I'm still feeding off of what he said a few minutes ago. And I have to keep trying to separate, my receiving from me being the person that he has chose to deliver the message. So my message is not this is what God is saying to you. My message is this is what God is saying to us. It's us, we, our. It's not I to you. And so my being in Guyana is absolutely positively God.
She said, too, that
nobody walks into a country or a city and not know what you're dealing with. And so after, accepting the invitation through prayer and knowing that, this is a Christian nation. This is not a demonic nation. This is a Christian nation with less than 1 million people, 800 and some thousand people, and ranking number 4 in crime and murder. And that particular poll being raised 10% every year. We have a problem. And the problem is not, is it somebody's not praying, or is it the fact that what we are praying and how we're praying, we're not moving as a corporate body, and we're not on the same agenda.
Tickets for the event cost $2,000 and could be uplifted from churches countrywide as well as a number of other places. For the Evening News, Royden James reporting.
Liat on Friday announced that it will be reducing the fuel surcharge on tickets. The airline in a statement said that the fuel surcharge will be reduced by 50% for all new bookings with effect from January 15. Liat first introduced a fuel surcharge in 2003 in the wake of increasing fuel prices. When the price went down in 2009, the company took a decision to remove the fuel surcharge. However, in 2011, the airline reintroduced a surcharge in response to the months of spiraling jet fuel prices. The chief executive officer of the airline noted that he is fully aware of the impact of rising fuel prices have had on its customers, and it is only fitting that they now benefit from the decrease. Join us after the break for your regional, international, and Brit reports. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now for some news from the region. The Trinidad and Tobago government on Wednesday night announced a revision of the 2015 national budget as a result of the significant decline in oil prices in the global market, but insisted that the Twin Island Republic can withstand the lower oil prices. Oil prices dropped from a high of over $100 a barrel a few months ago to less than $50 on Wednesday, and the Coalition People's Partnership government had based the 2015 fiscal package on an oil price of $80 a barrel and 2.75 per gallon of gas. Internationally now, Sri Lanka's longtime leader Mahinda Rajapaksa has been defeated in a presidential election. Official results showed Mayatrappa Sirisena, a former ally of the incumbent, had won 51.3% of the vote. Rajapaksa, in office since 2005, had looked forward to a peaceful transition of power. His supporters credited him with ending the civil war and boosting the economy, but critics say he had become increasingly authoritarian and corrupt. Sirisena had already received promises of support from Tamil and Muslim leaders before the election. In case you've just joined us, you're watching the Evening News. You now take a look at your Brit reports. The Damrar Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed from 8 hours 30 on Saturday, January 10 for a period of 1.5 hours, and the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed from 7 hours 15 on Saturday, January 10 for a period of 1.5 hours. So that's after the break for sports, sponsored by MarCorp. This is the Evening News.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Brit.
Welcome back. Now for a look at sport, but first the headlines. Destructive gale hands West Indies T20 series lead. Cricket ombudsman ready to act. Cycling season pedals off January 24. And Australia race to 348-run lead on day 4. Of course, this podcast comes with the kind compliments of MacCorp.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are Brit.
Welcome back. Now for the details. We start off with some cricket news. Chris Gayle was at his destructive best, slamming a belligerent 77 from 31 balls as the West Indies defeated South Africa by 4 wickets to take a 1-0 lead in the 3-match T20 series. Chasing 166, Gayle gave the Cape Town crowd a lot to cheer, adding 78 for the first wicket with Dwayne Smith as the West Indies responded with 168 for 6 with 4 balls remaining. The left-handed Gayle smashed 8 sixes and 5 fours and was well supported by Marlon Samuels with 41 and Smith 20. And despite a late wobble, the Caribbean side managed to seal the win in the final over. Earlier, South Africa's 165 for 4 was built on Riley Russo's unbeaten 51 and Faf du Plessis' 38 as Sheldon Cottrell claimed 2 wickets. The second T20 will be played on Sunday in Johannesburg starting at 9 hours Guyana time. Closer to home, Guyana's first cricket ombudsman, cricket historian Dr. Winston McGowan, is set to begin consultations with the 3 constituent members of the Guyana Cricket Board before deciding on a date for the new elections of the GCB. Roger Busnott reports.
Dr. McGowan made this announcement during an exclusive interview on Thursday. He said his immediate task will be to iron out any shortcomings within the 3 county boards before deciding on a date for new elections of the GCB.
Currently, I am entitled to have an update on the pasture. But currently, I know there is responsibilities I'm supposed to arrange for the first election that the new act was passed. So that's my main responsibility. So obviously I have to proceed along that way. The 3 boards involved, the security board in Georgetown, and them are supposed to consult them and so on. But I haven't really worked out what I'm going to proceed step by step way. But that's my main. In fact, that's the only responsibility the ombudsman has.
Asked how he decides to deal with the troublesome Demerara Cricket Board, which is currently divided into 2 factions, Dr. McGowan responded.
Everything that involves Demerara Board, Burmese Board, and SB would have to deal with. And so I got to consult the people. But I'm going ahead. I have to go ahead. The court will have to resolve whatever those things are. I'm not really sure what these are, where they are in the court and so on. But that's not really a major issue. I've got to consult all the boards, whether they have factions or not. So I got to go ahead with the Demerara Board, the SB Board, and the Burmese Board.
The post of Cricket Ombudsman is new to Guyana and is a feature of the recently enacted Cricket Administration Law. Dr. McGowan will be responsible for calling the elections of the Demerara, Essequibo and Berbice Cricket Boards in accordance with the provisions of the Cricket Administration Law. This law was assented to by President Donald Ramotar in August after the Cricket Bill was enacted in Parliament on June 20th. However, the Berbice Cricket Board elections have already been completed, with Anil Bihari voted in as the new president. According to Dr. McGowan, he will consult with the BCB on the way forward.
I have to go and consult the Burmese Board and find out what the issues are. They new people in office there. Some of them were there before anyhow. I got to consult the board. They know my position is, and I have to ask them recommendations, suggestions, and hear what they have to say. But I don't have any kind of anticipated responses and so on.
Dr. McGowan, who has given a distinguished service to the University of Guyana for close to 4 decades, was appointed by Sports Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, subsequent to Cabinet's approval.
Cycling news now. Fresh off a successful 2014, national cycling coach Hassan Mohammed is sparing no effort in ensuring the new year continues on the same upward curve by commencing the cycling season as early as January 24. More on this report. Speaking to this newscast on Friday, the long-serving sport administrator and former national cyclist indicated his desire to match or even surpass the achievements of the past year when he was able to pull off a whopping 42 events. These included 19 11 race programs on the inner circuit of the national park and 23 along the country's roadways, touching the Quarantine in Berbice, the Demerara Thoroughfare, Linden in Region 10, and the Essequibo Coast. To kick things off in 2015, Mohammed has organized the annual Rixansari Agro Industries 11 race program, which will take place at the national park. Mohammed said, and I quote, "I can assure you it will be another hectic year for cycling, so I'm encouraging the cyclists to be fully prepared. The season will pedal off on January 24, and it will pick up momentum in the weeks to follow." End quote. Mohammed has been in the forefront of promoting cycling in Guyana, with his unmatched program of activities being a strong indicator of his contribution to the sport. His impact on the sport has also not gone unnoticed, as he has won the National Sports Commission's Coach of the Year award on numerous occasions, while a few years ago he was recognized by the International Olympic Committee for his sterling contribution to sport as an administrator. And finally, Steve Smith eclipsed a Donald Bradman record as Australia chased victory over India in the fourth test in Sydney. The captain hit 71 of 70 balls to pass Bradman's 1947 Australian record of 715 for the most runs in a series against India. Smith, who has already made 4 centuries in the series, scored 769 runs at an average of 128.16. Australia raced to 251 for 6 and a lead of 348 over India before rain stopped play at the end of day 4. Looking to wrap up the 4-match series 3-0, the hosts dismissed India for 475 shortly before tea to take a 97-run lead after the first innings. And with that, we've come to the end of sport, which is sponsored by Marcorp. And that's a wrap as well on the evening news for today, Friday, January 9, 2015. Of course, you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in George and Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. On behalf of all of us here, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.